There's no question that people are seeing drones, and I want to assure the American public that we in the federal government have deployed additional resources, personnel, technology to assist the New Jersey State Police in addressing the drone sightings.
Hey, Robin, good morning to you. Yes, we went on patrol with officers who tell us they are getting inundated with reports of these drone sightings, and there's growing frustration as federal authorities insist there's nothing to fear, but at the same time can't explain what people are seeing in the sky.
The Biden administration insisting it has no evidence to suggest a national security threat or foreign involvement, but promising more resources to help solve the mystery.
These are vehicles we see in the sky. Many times we'll see multiple drones. We'll see 3, 4, 5 at a time. They appear to be traveling in some type of grid pattern. Whether they're mapping or videoing, we're really not sure.
It's really cute.
And it's huge.
It's so big. It looks so much closer in person.
Yeah, my camera doesn't do it. Looks like a spaceship, right? Like that doesn't look like a drone, right? That looks like a spaceship. It's like a small plane. It really is like a small plane.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
Hello pals, welcome back to the channel. So, as I'm sure you're aware, you can't go on social media or turn on the news at the moment without seeing outrageous footage or accounts of these drones over northeast of America. This is the third video that I've made on the subject. If you want the backstory, check out the other two. It covers the technology involved and also the ability to detect drones by America. So where are we? Well, it's nearly 3 weeks in, and due to the nature of clickbait and social media, things are getting ridiculous out there. It's really hard to find the actual clean data. I went through a scroll through Instagram today and I saw a fake video of somebody firing a machine gun at a drone. I saw fake footage, gunship footage from a war zone, which was supposed to be one of these drones shooting down another drone with some sort of machine gun. I have seen very passionate people saying that they're trying to detect a lost nuclear warhead. But drama gets clicks. And like I said, unfortunately, drama muddies the water. That being said, I think I've made a relatively crucial discovery as to the origin of at least some of these drones. So in this video, without further ado, we're going to get into that.
The FBI joined the investigation into mysterious nightly drone sightings in New Jersey. Authorities say they are larger than typical drones a hobbyist might fly. The devices have raised concerns in the past 2 weeks because of their proximity to both a military installation and President-elect Trump's Bedminster golf course. The FAA has imposed drone flight restrictions until authorities learn more about the recent activity.
So I'm pretty much just going to dive straight into the facts on this. Now, if you know me, you know I love UAP. I've seen multiple UAP, and these aren't that, or at least for the most part, aren't that. These particular craft that I'm going to talk about in this one are the large sort of fixed wing looking things or big rectangular looking things with a multiple of engine noises. They've got FAA lights, and they literally fly through the air rather than do whatever the anomalous weird stuff is that UAP do. UAP tend to be silent. They tend to move in a Brownian motion or very unpredictable zigzags without displaying any signs of suffering from inertia or momentum. These are flying. They sound like little planes. And and they're flying the same route, which UAP don't seem to do. So I think it's pretty safe to put your money on the fact that they are man-made. Secondly, you look at the location. Now, New Jersey has an enormous naval yard just north of it. And I found a contractor that makes a certain type of drone that I think you're going to find very interesting. Well, the thing that really stands out about a limitation and the sheer amount of drones that they've seen is that people seem to say they're coming in from over the sea. One local sheriff, in fact, said that he saw 50 drones come in from over the coast at early evening. The logistics of that are ridiculous. As I said in my last video, if you're launching one drone every 20 seconds, which takes a lot of organization with something with a 7-meter wingspan, then that's 12 minutes to get 50 in the air, by which time the first ones are on considerably less fuel or charge. So something with VTOL, vertical takeoff and landing, which takes up a footprint of say 2 or 3 feet instead, you could have them all lined up on a big flat topped boat, whiz it out to sea, and then they either all go up at once, or if they're in a row of 10, that's 5 ranks. The point is you are mobilized in minutes as opposed to literally 12. So there's another green light for what this could be. In fact, have a look at this video.
Is actually used. It's fully autonomous at the moment. We're adding in additional functionality to operate it from moving objects, moving vehicles, moving ships, and really making it more of an operational tool. We have the ability to tune the vehicle design for a more specific flight regime, that being an efficient, fast cruise. And we've got the VTOL capability. Again, by nature of the configuration, we have the ability to be more resilient to adverse weather conditions, vertical gusting, and it's a big reason why we're going after the maritime market. It's a really, really tough, challenging environment landing on the back of a boat.
Oh really? A 7-foot-long drone built for landing on the back of a boat? Well, let's have a look at that. Let's have another look at the actual footage of these fixed-wing drones taken from New Jersey.
This one is extremely low. It's loud.
It's really cute.
And it's huge.
It's so big. It looks so much closer in person.
Yeah, my camera doesn't do it. Looks like a spaceship, right? Like that doesn't look like a drone, right? That looks like a spaceship. It's like a small plane. It really is like a small plane.
That's crazy.
Oh my god.
And they just keep coming.
These are all drones in the sky. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 right here.
Interesting, but not quite perfect. So you can see that the wings aren't at a sheer right angle in that footage, And also it sounds like jet engines rather than the props. Now, the footage that I've shown you so far is of the XP4, which is their 4th generation drone. So let's have a little look at their website where you can see the new one. So let's see what we can learn, and hopefully you can't hear the carol singers that are outside. So immediately it shows you military contracts and that they're trying to push the envelope for drone innovation. That's their CEO. Let's get into it. Innovative VTOL systems. That's the 3 configurations for flight. This shows a timeline of the company's development. So first conceived in 2017, various achievements through 2018. First patent and advancing the tech. So a swing wing is patented to them, which further tightens the noose a little bit. 2020, 2021, first Department of Defense contract, 4th generation aircraft, 13-foot wingspan, and an advanced Navy contract for a 4th generation trans-wing aircraft. Interesting, a Navy contract. Navy delivery and venture investment, first flight of the 4th generation, delivered on Navy contract, closed on 2nd venture capital financing. 2023, 5th generation transwing. So this would be the X5. So in development of 5th generation transwing aircraft, 21-foot wingspan. Let's see where we can find out a little bit more about that. So that tells you about the transwing. It's protected by 4 granted and 15 pending patents in 11 jurisdictions around the world, including Israel, China, all sorts. Superior range and endurance, fast cruise speeds, outstanding VTOL stability, autonomous operations, smaller operational ground footprint, so how they can all take off so quickly, reliable, available, and maintainable. Just goes into detail about the different wing configurations. Now we get into the interesting stuff. So this is the Generation 4 one with the drones that you've seen. Built and flying, 90 pounds, 33 meters per second, and it's got a flight time of 1 hour, and it's electric. Works with the props there. The P5, aircraft in development. Logistics based, performance 50 pound payload, 600 Newton meter, and I've also seen a hybrid powertrain. So this would be electric and or jet, which is very interesting and explains the sound. They're also developing the P7. Obviously it's missing out the P6, so maybe that's a dedicated military contract. We don't know. Turbo generated £3,500. So it's got jets, 9-hour endurance, 1,852 kilometer range. This is the kind of performance that people have been seeing over the northeast of America. Designed to use multiple stovepipes. Stovepiping, as you know, is the SAP or black technology thing where different teams will work on different aspects of the craft, nobody seeing the full time. So their market focus, another critical detail. Where are they aiming their focus of this particular drone? Longer range, greater stability, smaller footprint, faster cruise and endurance. So maritime logistics, the ability to check out things like ships and oil rigs, gas rigs, things like that, offshore wind farms. Certainly capable of being used out to sea from the top of a boat. Automated cargo delivery. Now, I don't think we've seen much of this or much evidence from that from New Jersey, but you can see Army, Marines, Navy resupply and critical repair. This is interesting. Linear inspection. Regular autonomous inspection of rail and energy infrastructure. Obviously shows that it has different scanning capabilities or sensor payloads that it can have, which will allow it to scan for different things or monitor a population, things like that. Commercial applications, rail, oil and gas transmission lines. So a friend of mine, for example, that inspected oil rigs said that they're handy for that, and you can send it up to a high place where a human isn't, and it can sensor for heat or anything like that, any flaws. This is the interesting one. Public safety. Long-range surveillance in support of law enforcement and public agencies. Government surveillance and reconnaissance over large geographies. So these things are coming out in the evening. They've obviously got a sensor suite on them, and they seem to be working a grid pattern. And this, of all of it, seems very, very interesting to me. Surveillance and reconnaissance over large geographies. Then the rest of the website is a few videos of it in action and meeting the team and the careers opportunities. So, interesting.
Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas told ABC's This Week that this is not a national security threat.
We know of no foreign involvement with respect to the sightings in the Northeast, and we are vigilant in investigating this matter.
John Ferguson, the CEO of Saxon Aerospace, a drone manufacturer, believes these drones are trying to detect something.
They have no reason to be in the air at night unless you're doing some type of ISR work, intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, looking for bad guys, or looking for a search and rescue victim, or law enforcement, or some type of military project.
Former CIA officer Laura Bowman says statements by officials make her think the drone activity could be a classified exercise.
The statements that have been made by John Kirby, who has said that these objects are not operating illegally.
Congressman Jim Himes on the House Intelligence Committee does not believe the drones are foreign, and that by not being more forthcoming, the government is causing conspiracy theories to spread.
Okay, so next, let's have a look at the map of the most frequent sightings of this type of drone. So you can see, looking on this one here, as far south as New Jersey, as far west as Philadelphia, Burlington, Trenton, Joint Base McGuire, Dix, Lakehurst, which weirdly sounds a lot like Lakenhurst RAF, which has its own UAP problem at the moment. Staten Island, New York City, New York State, with as far north as Sussex. The Picatinny Arsenal military base, Trump's golf club, which everyone's making a fuss about this being a tactical target, but whatever. And smack bang in the middle, Naval Weapons Station Earl. So a very quick Google of Naval Weapons Station Earl tells you that it's got a history of joint supplying Department of Defense and the Navy, and that its distinguishing feature is a 2.1 mile long pier in Sandy Hook Bay, where ammunition can be loaded and unloaded from warships at a safe distance from heavily populated areas. Also safe from spying eyes, I'm sure, were you to be launching drones from a ship, potentially. Okay, so whether or not it's related, you can decide, but everything I've said up to now is fact. Now, I'm going to get to the fun bit and speculate. So, no doubt you saw the congressional hearing from earlier in the week, where everybody from the FBI down, really, that's been involved with this was summoned before Congress to take 2 hours to say, we don't know what's happening, give us some money and buy us a drone and maybe we can find out. Which is the reason I didn't put it on my channel. It was very frustrating. But what was palpably obvious was that the only people there didn't know what was going on. You've got AARO, All Domain Airspace, I'm going to butcher it. Basically, the people that are supposed to look in all different domains for anomalous stuff in the sky. Not a peep. National Geospatial Intelligence Satellite Network, not a peep. CIA, nobody. Air Force, Nobody. Space Force? Nobody. It was a room full of people trying their best without enough intelligence or equipment to have any idea what was going on. That fits the bill of a special access program. We've had future President Trump give a speech this evening, and this is what he had to say.
Can you comment on the drones that are flying around New Jersey and ports? It seems like the American people have a big disconnect.
The government knows what is happening. Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And I think they'd be better off saying what it is. Our military knows and our president knows. And for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense. I can't imagine it's the enemy, because if it was the enemy, they'd blast it out. Even if they were late, they'd blast it. Something strange is going on. For some reason, they don't want to tell the people, and they should, because the people are really, I mean, they happen to be over Bedminster.
Will you shoot them down?
They're very close to Bedminster. I think maybe I won't spend the weekend in Bedminster. I've decided to cancel my trip.
Have you received an intelligence briefing on the drones?
I don't want to comment on that.
Have you been?
Do you have any reason to think they're a threat?
Okay, so he didn't want to say whether he'd had an intelligence briefing, and that's quite telling, because anything to do with national security or a special access program that wasn't completely dark, he'd certainly have rights to hear about it. So just imagine then that there is a black or a DARPA project or a special access program that can do reconnaissance and deploy and return to quite difficult working area like the back of a boat. You have a one-time fantastic opportunity to gauge the reaction of the general public, of local law enforcement, of the FBI, all of these people below the waterline of classification involved in it in a black project like this. So let's say this thing is designed to be used over a civilian population or in a conflict zone. It's a great way to see if people are going to start shooting at it, if they're going to start praying to it, if they're going to start going on social media and making up stories about them sniffing for nuclear bombs or having guns on them. And that is a one-time chance. I'm sure the same happened with things like the stealth fighter, where they flew it over some desert town, and then you get all the reportings of black triangles being seen. Not that I don't think that black triangular UFOs exist. I'm just saying you get one chance when it's a secret to test how people react to it. And once it's gone, it's gone. Okay, so have we solved this whole Scooby-Doo mystery about the Northeast drones? No. Have we solved a bit of it? Well, I personally like to think so. But more people than ever, which is fantastic, are hearing about this weird stuff in the sky, and then they're going outside and they're seeing it. And some of them are misidentification, which we'll get onto in a minute. A lot of them aren't. There is a clearly different and distinct type of UAP that other people are seeing. I met a friend 2 weeks ago who said that she was sat in her living room reading a book and a ball of golden light appeared in front of her, and she had no idea what a weird little hippie I am and was interested in all this, was just telling me over a coffee that it was something completely extraordinary and she'd not spoken about before. Chris Bledsoe's sightings, wonderful man that he is, seem to be on the increase. The sightings of RAF Lakenheath, we interviewed Liberty Wings UK, which is a fantastic YouTube channel if you're into military planes and plane spotting. He said that he'd seen a ball of plasma, what looked like a ball of plasma in the air, and that he'd seen things which he interpreted as drones, but they were silent or they were moving quite weirdly. I mean, that we're getting into more familiar UAP territory with these descriptions. But there are people seeing things for the first time and trying to capture it, or more of fitting to this is sort of checking their footage afterwards and going, oh my God, look at this, and mistaking a dot on their screen for an orb. So I'm just playing, but I'm being fair to both sides here, because I have physically seen orbs of 3 different colours on different occasions. Now I've seen red ones, blue and orange at the same time. My mum's seen orange orbs, so I know what to look for. However, the main skeptical argument of this is that it is a term called bokeh, which I've probably just mangled. But it's a photography error. If your camera's out of focus, you'll get that Christmas light effect in the background. And if you are looking back through a piece of footage or doorbell camera or something like that, and you see like a mote of light, a little ball of light, there's a very, very good chance it could be this bokeh effect. So I'm just going to play you a quick example of what that actually looks like, because it's better to be forewarned is forearmed. Is that the term?
You're gonna get roasted. What about the teacher could completely ruin the way you watch TV and movies? It might also change the way you buy lenses. I'm going to teach you about bokeh, which is this. It's this area here, this out of focus area. These are bokeh balls, and they have qualities like shape and texture and fall off. I'm going to get to all that, but first I'm going to talk about the origin of the name. You see,
all right, now I'm obviously not going to play you the full in-depth video, because interesting as it is, it wouldn't be relevant to this one. I do recommend, if you're interested in the UAP or UAP footage or photography, check out a video like that, because it's really important to be able to discern and eliminate anything which might be an artifact or a trick of the light, as opposed to something genuinely anomalous. Like I said before, it's so important to take away the bad data from the good. So now that I've been fair and respectful to the seagull side of the seesaw, we'll look at some of the more interesting UAP footage which has appeared recently. So if you've been anywhere near Reddit in the last couple of weeks, you'll have seen the footage from Manchester Airport of the blue beach ball sized thing a couple of inches off the floor. But more interesting was the footage of it high up in the air. I actually landed in Manchester the following morning after that was taken, and the weather was horrendous. So I can't imagine anything standing there stationary like that. This is declassified by Arrow, and this is Mount Etna erupting. And this weird little object flies straight through the pyroclastic plume coming out of the top of an erupting volcano. So it is definitely not a flameproof seagull. It's something strange. It also, over the course of this quite a long bit of video, which I will play in full, it doesn't appear to be a projectile. So I mean, it's not like a cannonball and going at one constant velocity, because it appears to be kind of weaving in and out of the clouds. And it's so hard to tell the relative positioning of the camera, because that's going to be on an aircraft, and the actual subject. But at times it appears to accelerate and decelerate, and therefore gives the impression that it's under intelligent control, or at least powered, and doesn't seem to have any control surfaces or anything like that. It's very, very interesting. Okay, I love this next piece of footage. Different people have said it's debunked over the years, and frankly, I don't think it is. The guy that said he debunked it also said he worked in Hollywood making movies, and I think IMDb can only see him associated with one thing. The software it would have took to make this would have been astronomically expensive at the time. It's from Oliver's Castle and appears to show spherical craft creating a crop circle. Fascinating, and we'll hear from it in the future. This was taken by Fox News, was just shown on a weather report. Avi Loeb said potentially it's lens flare, but who knows. And this was taken this week.
You know, when things like this are happening, it seems everyone starts to look up, like my crew and I have been here in Mendham recording this video that you're looking at right now. We have no idea what it is, if it's a natural phenomenon, because it could be, but this is why so many municipalities are now asking people to reach out and send their videos to them or to experts who might be able to sort out what they're seeing in the skies. But I guarantee there are so many people looking up and making those recordings because this mystery is one that needs to be solved. For now, well,
I don't think I can put it any better than that. Hopefully, we've learned a little bit about what's going on in our skies. Hopefully, we're inspired to learn a lot more. I'll see you soon.